Hello, Pisces. Welcome to your December forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. Very happy to see you, and I hope you're doing well. This monthly forecast can be used for Sun, Rising Moon, and Venus, and I always like to begin with channeled messages. As I meditated on your sign today, I kept seeing the image of a dragonfly, and to me, this is one of the luckiest symbols that can come through in dreams or meditation. And let me tell you why. First of all, the thing that kind of sticks in my mind's eye is the transparency of the wings and the kind of iridescence. To me, this is like a revealing energy, and it's basically showing in this month you're going to be able to see through blocks, to see solutions. And the second thing besides that transparent wing is the ability for it to move in almost any direction. So you can navigate both the challenges and the opportunities, and it is important to be able to do both, right? When I was doing research earlier, I was very intrigued to find that the larval stage for some of them can last quite a long time, up to a year or two. So for some of you, you might have been really working very hard at creating a change in your life, or maybe you've been working on a project. Something is coming to the point now where it's time to take flight. And as we take a look at your reading today, I'm going to do whatever I can to help you get untethered, to navigate whatever challenge or opportunity might be coming through, and again, to help you take flight. With that being said, let's give the cards a shuffle and see what's in store. Before we begin, imagine that you are standing in front of the setting sun. Beautiful, brilliant streams of gold and purple and bright yellow are in the sky, and they're starting to wrap around your energy, allowing you to feel this sense of protection and safety. In this energy of the setting sun, I'd like you to call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. Let's set the intention here that you can receive anything you need to see in the highest light, and I'm going to do my best to help you navigate, as I said earlier. Again, good to see you. Let's focus on the messages coming forth. We have a couple cards here that just pre-selected themselves, which is cool. All right. Okay, let's get started. We're going to begin here with your Catalyst card. The Catalyst, of course, helps you connect to necessary change going on in your life. And if we just take a moment to look at this in the upright position, this is about, for some of you, expansion. You might have outgrown your living situation. This could be the physical space in which you live. It could also be a community or a school or a workplace. There's something about the time or the place you're spending the most time where it feels like it's time to spread your wings a little bit. We had talked about that in channeled messages. The card reversed is, for some of you, this desire, but maybe a lack of resources or initiative, or even just a clear path of how to make that next move. So we'll take a look at the cards in just a moment and see what else they might convey. The other thing that I see here is just housewarming, and it's a reminder that wherever you're spending your time, in the office and also at home, just take a moment or two to make the space feel cozy, to feel safe. If there's clutter or anything around you that distracts you, now is a great time to bring that into order. You could also potentially take this at face value, which is part of the way of warming up a space could be adding flowers or something from the outside, something green. And you know what? We're in holiday season. This even includes things like a poinsettia or something like that, or a tree. But if you can have something more like year-round in the house, that would be great. Whether it's a orchid or a succulent or something that doesn't require a lot of work, that's up to you. Okay, let's take a look at the cards here and see what other messages want to come forth. This just appeared in the weekly collective, and I actually really love Judgment. It's the second to last card before things really get exciting, like comes right before the world. And this is basically you accepting something. We'll talk more about it in a second. We see financial growth and recovery, possibly something really good that just came in, new love, good news, you really starting to get energized. Overall, I like what I see, but there is some impatience here on the progress that you've made so far. And so hopefully as we go through this, I can help you with this. Let's start off with the center card, Seven of Pentacles. This represents a period of growth and movement, perhaps after a setback, a challenge, maybe even like in the body, it can be recovery after an injury. Suffice it to say, things are starting to turn around. But much of the work and much of the growth is happening beneath the surface. He's patient, he sees that, but not everyone can understand that, just how much work you are doing or have done. And there may be times where you forget that. So this card is coming through to remind you that what's above the surface oftentimes is dwarfed by the root system, all the sort of energy, the homework, the lessons that you've been integrating. And it looks like you've built a strong foundation. Keep doing that. Don't rush. Seven of Pentacles also reminds us of the importance of not overextending ourselves. This could be in activities, in purchasing power. So, holidays just around the corner. Try not to spend too much. And more importantly, when we're looking at your expenditure of energy, try not to have too many things in your schedule. Leave a little bit of extra time for growth. And that's really what this card is showing, growth and healing. But it takes time, and less is more. This month is offering a level up opportunity for you. So everything that you see here, the growth, the movement, all of that can actually go even a step further. But it really depends on you being able to answer the call. If we look at a card that's based on the original Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you see an angel above calling to souls to rise up. That means that this represents a chance for you to reinvent yourself and to bounce back from a perceived setback. And all that really is required is understanding that, this is what I need to do. Another way to look at this is it's about acceptance. That, my friends, will actually help speed up this outcome card, the Hanged Man. You're waiting to see and accept and then act upon whatever's coming through in the Judgment card here. One thing that this also represents is shaking things up. What used to work may not work anymore. And if you can be flexible and change, dragonfly, it evolves. It's stuck for a year or two and then it finds its wings. So you're no longer stuck. Even just the decision, I'm done with this, can actually start to manifest it in your life. I had a coach once that was also a yoga instructor, but there was a cycle in my life that kept repeating, and she said, say it to me in front of your version of God and the angels and the universe. Make a promise to yourself that this ends now. And she said, and make it count. And so I did, and it did. Like, the cycle ended. Part of it was simply that. I also had a friend who practices the same sort of energy work that I do, but there was a moment where she just said to me, it's done. It's done, right? This was a completely different situation in my life. She said, this was when I was trying to get over someone that had, done something to me. She said, that person no longer is even in your energy. And when she said that, that also made it very clear to me. She said, see it, say it, embrace it. Sometimes you need someone in your life to hold you accountable. To the best of my ability, I'm going to try to do that for you. If you're willing today to make a contract with yourself on your own volition, it's important that you need to see it for yourself. But make a promise to yourself and just change the cycle. You can change the cycle. For me, it wasn't so much these two wonderful teachers in my life that, that changed things as much as they held up a mirror for me saying, Nicholas, can't you see it's easy, it's done. You're focusing too much on the past. And that is really what this is about, is rising up and embracing the present and the future. What's done is done. It doesn't get any more final than the Judgment card. You can't change the history of the past. And you can only gaze towards tomorrow. And this is really embracing that. Once you realize you've got nowhere to go but up, literally, in both of these cards, there's angels and the souls are rising. It can only get better. All right? Let's go ahead and look and see what else is going on here. By the way, in your life, we'll talk about this more in relationships. It's about not judging yourself harshly and not letting others do the same. But we'll hold that a little bit for the relationship portion. Knight of Swords. Things have already started to pick up pace-wise because this is in deep past. So part of this month is just about keeping the pace and realizing also that the only one that is kind of like keeping track of how long this is taking is you. I mentioned this also on the collective, but do it right the first time. Finishing early doesn't necessarily make it better, especially if there's quality control issues. So I would rather you take your time and enjoy and really feel comfortable and take a minute to smell the flowers. And what does that mean? It means enjoy the scenery, because before you know it, it's tomorrow, right? So drink in this moment, and then there won't be any of this feeling of, having to look back on the past. You can say, I did everything that I could have every single day. I knocked it out of the park. So you're doing fine. You could slow down a little bit if you want to, but the Knight of Swords is basically saying it's not a race, even though it's moving quickly. You're doing fine. It's not a race. Take time to smell the flowers. I like what you've been working on creating here. Ace of Cups can be some good news coming in. Some of you have been working on healing the heart space, and I love how we see that right there over the heart. This cup is bubbling over. What does that mean? That means that you're ready to call in higher frequency relationships in the form of friends, business colleagues, and yes, lovers if you're looking for love interests. Mostly this is you being in touch with your heart. That's the most powerful thing. Because if your heart is open, if your heart is aware, then you can judge new situations with clarity. By the way, let's just look at this arrangement here. So the heart is touching judgment. So trust your heart, let your heart make the decision. It's helping you grow, recover, and rebound. And then it's giving you new insight and new ideas here in the form of the Queen of Wands. There is a little challenge here in the Five of Cups, so let's talk about that. This is a card of mourning and recalibration. This one's kind of interesting because she's starting to dip her toe in that cup of possibilities here. There's always two cups upright, and they can represent friendship, love, or things that you haven't explored. It's the silver lining. And then the three cups that are spilled are the regrets, the past, the things that you haven't done the way you wanted to. But she sees in front of her that there's this well of possibilities. Let's keep focusing on the possibilities. I love that she's dipping her toe here into this and saying, well, how does this feel? I would love it if she was a little bit more happy, but it's okay. Part of processing requires going through the whole gamut of emotions. But I'm going to pull the traditional card while we're talking here. With the Five of Cups, there's always a bridge over troubled water. And one of the challenges, or should I say opportunities in this moment for you, is to see what's on the other side. And I think taking a moment to just decide, again, what is the next chapter going to look like for you could help. So here's our traditional Five of Cups. The person typically is fixated on these, the spilled cups, and they're missing these. But behind him is a bridge, and he can take those cups and go to greener pastures. So take a moment or two and let go, but then start to focus on what is and what could be. And that's when things start to change, start to get exciting. I love this Queen of Wands. You can see the magic that is always intrinsic to this card. She's ready to make things happen. She trusts in her power. And that's what this is really inviting you to do as well. Work your magic. The black cat is almost hidden here in the front. What I love about the black cat on this card is it represents instinct, the ability to land on your feet. The cat has 9 lives, so it can afford to make some mistakes and still rebound. The Judgment card is touching this, and that shows that you haven't quite had your 9th life just yet. So make the most of whatever this is. Who knows how many, lives we have or opportunities we have, but you're still good. And that's basically what this is saying. So bounce back, embrace the moment, trust in your instincts, have some fun. This Queen of Wands is really leaning into the art of creation and joy. So if you don't get a sense of fulfillment and again, satisfaction out of something that you're doing, whether it's an activity, a job, or especially if you're not feeling the fire in a relationship, it's time to reconsider. You don't have to make a decision overnight, but really you should be having some of that sense of fire, right? Dragonfly, connected at least figuratively to fire, because we're calling it a dragon. So this is a moment for you to really get excited about something. It doesn't matter to me what aspect of your life it is. It could be personal development, it could be work, it could be relationships, it could be outreach, making it a better world. Whatever lights your fire, that's what I'd love for you to put some energy on, or into rather, and use that to create momentum. And then that's going to set you off in a really exciting trajectory. Before we move on, look who joined us in the background, Mr. Apollo. Hey, buddy. Good boy. Yes, you are. You're hiding from view? All right. I just had to say hello to Apollo. Let's get back into your reading. So we have one of 3 cards here that presents a challenge. We just went through 5 of Cups a couple moments ago. We have 8 of Swords here. We have the Hanged Man. The good news with this is it's reversed. We want it to be reversed because if you look at the woman here in real life, she's fine. If you look at what she feels or what is being projected on her, that's where the fear is. So with the reversal, she's starting to see through it. She's starting to think, maybe I'm okay. Maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe I can do this. Yes. Remember, asking that question and getting beyond the shadow of doubt is always the best path to actually bringing it into fruition. So if you feel something like fear, I'm afraid. Why am I afraid? What do I have to be afraid about? I'm not afraid. I can do this. You start to talk yourself out of it. She's doing that. And so in this moment, keep up with that and help yourself by surrounding yourself with the company of people that have good judgment, that are positive, and that can help you dispel the fear or the shadow of doubt that exists in this mirror. This is also important because if we get past the inner lens, this can also be you paying attention to people, places, and things that need to be addressed in your life. There may be someone that you didn't notice before had a habit that kind of gets on your nerves, or someone that's not doing what they said they would do. Or, as we were talking about here, you've noticed that you need a different environment in order to thrive. Whatever the epiphany or the ideas that comes to you that you didn't notice before, pay special attention to that now. You're more attuned to your heart, to your environment, and it's helping you make better choices. Pay attention to what you're seeing and feeling. Even if you feel like ignoring it or sweeping it under the rug, it's better to deal with it in real time. I love the environment here. So we have 2 of Wands. It's reversed, but it's still one of the best cards you can pull in the environment. So this is basically an idea or opportunity that's ripe for the picking, but what's required is creating some space, especially in the form of planning. So this can actually be a very practical card. We see a map, we see a globe, and it's about mapping out the next move, which I keep talking about in this reading in particular. So that can involve getting inspired, first of all. If you're feeling stuck in any aspect of your life, you could read a book, listen to a podcast, go to a movie, go to a seminar, or talk to a friend. Anybody in your life or anything in your life that helps get you unstuck, that helps fan the flame of inspiration. Then you get to decide, what if ... What if I tried that? What if I studied this? What if I put myself out there? There's a little hesitation here because the acceptance of judgment still needs to come through. Remember, we can even see it here, there's nowhere to go but up. And you are being guided. This is an angelic card. That's why I occasionally will go back to Rider-Waite-Smith or a derivative deck. This is an angel card, and it's the second card in this spread, and it's touching everything in the center. So it's really important in this moment in time to answer the call. And Spirit is coming through and saying, listen to your dreams, listen to your intuition, and allow yourself to explore what's possible. This will ultimately empower High Priestess, Magician, and all of the powerful cards in the Major Arcana. In Hopes, Fears, and Opportunities, we have the Queen of Swords. She's reminding you that in this moment, you can actually speak something into existence. I'm also getting from the guides to be careful about how you make a wish. And this isn't like to make you be afraid, it's to make you be more effective. I'll give you an example. I had a friend who just wished that she could have some time off and then got sick for 2 weeks. It wasn't what she wanted. But in retrospect, it was sort of like, oh yeah, I didn't really specify how I wanted some time off. So a better way to make that happen is, I wish that I had enough abundance and had enough support that I could afford to take some time off on my own volition. Something of that nature. If you're just trying to open up opportunity, you could say, I'm open to love and opportunity in the highest forms, and I'm open to it now. I'm ready, willing, and deserving of these opportunities. That way you're not calling in something that's going to be challenging. You're not going to have to wait a long time. And in the highest form also reminds the universe that you're not going to take the first thing that comes across the finish line. You're going to take the best possible option in front of you. So be specific. That was a long-winded way of saying be specific in your wishes and intentions. Also, get to the point. If there's something that you need in a job or a relationship, the other party shouldn't have to pull cards to figure it out. So with a boss or coworker, say, this is my expectation. Can you deliver? Like, it's super clear. And if there's a goal, say, I'm interested in this. How do we make it happen? Not, can we make it happen? How do we make it happen? Speaking clearly, speaking affirmatively, and it's almost like a command, but not really. But notice the difference there. When can we do this? Rather than can we do this? Change the questions to be more, there's a little bit more of a command, but it's more direct and more confident. We're taking the question out of the question. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Because if you organize your speech in such a way that you're showing someone, I already know this is what we're doing. How are we going to do it? It's how, not when. And you're really trying to sort out if the person that you're working with or talking to is on the same page. So empowered communication. I mean, the Queen of Swords is the ultimate for that. If I needed someone on my team to help me communicate, she'd be the one. We'll talk more about how she'll play into work and other things when I get into the expanded forecast. Now let's take a look at the Hanged Man. This is a necessary pause. If you're trying to get something done, but someone goes on vacation, you have to wait an extra week, it's okay. In that time, something else will come through that you might need to put your time and attention to. And this doesn't mean that whatever you're trying to get done won't be completed. It just means you're not supposed to do it right now. There may also be a chance for you, let's say, sometimes you can manifest this. This happens to me a lot, especially with my intuitive friends. Sometimes I'll think, gosh, I really don't want to meet on that day. I wish there was a way I could convey that. And then I get a text saying, hey, you know what? Friday doesn't work. How about Saturday? I'm like, oh, thank you. So sometimes you can manifest it to your benefit. So if you're trying to get a delay, just be clear on what it is again when you're manifesting. I could really use an extra day or two. And then you can say to them, say, that's great. That'll give me more time to edit this or revise this, and looking forward to the meeting. So sometimes the delay is your best friend because you can do a better quality, whatever it is that you're trying to deliver. This is also about looking at a challenge from another perspective. Let's say it isn't a delay, it's a no, and you had your heart set on something. So now you're left with extra time and space. And you get to kind of hang out and look around a little bit and say, oh, I forgot about this. I forgot about that person. And suddenly a new doorway opens because you have free time. And an opportunity that wouldn't otherwise be there is now presenting itself to you, okay? I love also that she's continuing to reach for her goal. Even though she's still, there's grace and movement that can happen in the Hanged Man. And if we just go to the mythology of it, Odin chose to take some time off, hanging upside down from the Tree of Knowledge to learn the secret of the runes. We can actually see the runes right beneath her. So this could be a sabbatical. This could be a vacation that you decided to take before making a major decision, which I always advise. So before quitting, before proposing, before moving, before anything major, take some time. It can be an hour, a day, a week, a month. I don't care. But some time. Take some time to yourself to look at it from all angles. To that end, beautiful segue, we're going to look at the following sections of your life: health, wealth, love, and destiny. I always like to start off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. We have the wolf spirit coming through, pack mentality, and family being the main message here. Very much 10 of Pentacles with this, because that's what I would think of, like core family unit. Family can be your best friend. It can also drive you crazy sometimes. And so particularly when I'm thinking of that pack mentality or group think, you may be in a place where you need that support, like a bunch of people that think the same way. But if you are no longer in alignment with that, give yourself time and space to get comfortable and confident to tell them what it is that you want and try to get them behind that. If you can convey confidence and clarity, perhaps you can have the support from, even if there was initially a little bit of friction. Ultimately, they don't want to lose you. So try to put that in there and say, I love you. This is important to me. I need to know that you are supporting me. Are you ready? So again, you're not really giving them permission not to. It's saying, let me know when you're ready. That's even a more empowered way. Let me know when you're ready to support me because I'm moving forward with this. And I would really prefer to have you on my side. Back to that empowered communication. I like this, Pisces, for you. This is good. You may also be meeting someone in this period of time that it's kind of like a ready-made family. This doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting into a relationship with a bunch of people, but it could just be like you find a new friend and they kind of loop you into their friend circle, and it's almost like your connections start to grow. If you're in a point where you're kind of like a lone wolf, this is encouragement to get out and to mix and to mingle. All right, let's look at just general health. This was very much related to like love, but it came through in health, so I needed to kind of touch on that. All right, general health, standard disclaimer applies. I'm a medium and a tarot reader. I'll look at the energy and I'll show you where it may be affecting you. Work with a doctor if anything's going on. Hanged Man. Some of you are just being invited or asked to slow down a little bit. There may be too much going on in your life. You may be working too much. And the Hanged Man is really here to show you that by slowing down and being a little bit more present, you're going to save yourself from making a mistake and also possibly even getting injured or getting sick. So slowing down is really important. This is also connected to the ankle and foot. If you've had any injuries there, be extra kind to that part of your body. And if you're doing any sort of heavy exercise or changing up anything in your life, slow changes are best. Hearing and vision tests coming through with the Eight of Swords. You can see that the blindfold usually covers the eyes and ears, so it's important to get that checked out. Also, don't ignore something going on in your body. If it doesn't feel right, talk to somebody and get an opinion or get a second opinion as needed. Recovery, as I said, takes time. The Seven of Pentacles does show growth and recovery, but we never want to rush that. This is a wake-up call. This can be a very close call, a brush with death. It can be someone in your life that had a very close call. It could be you. There could have also been someone that passed into spirit, and you're looking at this as your chance not to kind of like repeat some of their choices or habits. So basically, I talked about this earlier, the chain, the cycle, the karma, it ends with you. You're improving it and you're saying, I'm going to eat better. I'm going to live and take care of myself in a way that allows me to be around longer without having some of the same challenges. Mental health, super important. December can be a difficult month because of all the holidays and gatherings. So if you need some support during this period, absolutely get that. Otherwise, it's fairly manageable. The only other thing I said before, it's very much kind of like an environmental tendency here, but it could be that you're just in a place that doesn't allow you to grow in the way that you need to. So this is a time to look around and see what else could be a good match for you. Okay, let's move on from health to wealth. This is a very interesting card. There are multiple meanings for grief. Grief can be, it's not worth the grief. Like you're working really hard for a person or group of people, and it's like they're just giving you a lot of grief and difficulty. So it's more like the emotional load that it takes to deal with people. So if you feel that, this is a wake-up call. Some of you could have lost a job or lost some money, and you're grieving that. There could also just be a loss of someone that you trusted as a friend, an ally. This happens like if your favorite boss gets promoted or moves to a new company, or again, a coworker that was your bestie at work. Now they've moved on, and there can be a grieving of that. If you're a student, or if you decided to leave a job on your own volition, as you go to the next phase, like student to graduation and first job, these are moments of grief and celebration because the old you is gone, the new you is coming forth. You are not a one-trick pony. You're going to have the ability to bounce back from this, even if it's not immediately obvious how or when. You will be okay. Give yourself some time to process whatever this is. And again, I think it is mostly connected to change, and it's change out of your control. All right, let me just move this a little bit more into frame, and we're going to take a look at this in three major categories. Those of you that have a job, those of you that are job seeking, and students and retirees. And for those that have a job, I'll also put entrepreneurs in here, but let's begin first and foremost with those that work for other people. So if you have a job and you work for someone else, here's what I see. I mentioned that some of you might have had a favorite person that has moved on to something else. So a boss got promoted, a friend left. There could also be just internal changes going on with the company. It could have gotten bought or merged or sold to some other place, and it's now a matter of deciding, how do you feel about the new order, the new world? You get to decide, do I want to stay or do I want to go? You don't have to stay if it doesn't feel like it's a place where you can grow. Because that's kind of what I'm seeing as I look at all three of these. They have very similar colors and themes, and we're looking at present energy, you, outcome, and I think you're trying to wait a second, explore options, which I highly recommend, and decide. Let's see what's going on in this space, irrespective of change. What I do see right now for many of you is, again, busy month. People like you and like what you're doing for the most part. Communication skills are a high point and a highlight and a way for you to make things happen. You can speak an opportunity into existence if you're feeling like you're stuck. Ask. You never know what's possible until you ask. You're kind of primed here. These are your three strongest cards. So ideation, like brainstorming and serving up really good ideas, communication, and again with this sort of innovation. There's a sweet spot here if you want to go into that. And you could be like a thought leader or, you could step into a leadership role. But if you're happier kind of like staying where you're at, what you want to do right now is let people know what it is that you want. I mentioned the Queen of Swords, just to make sure that you are comfortable also with whatever this might represent. Have a stake in it and say, this is what, I'm really interested in continuing with this, or let's talk about how this might change my job. Have discussions. Definitely have discussions around your overall career goals and career trajectory. Even if it isn't like the performance review time, like still you can have a conversation with your boss right now. I look at this and the word boredom comes to mind. So I see highly functional energy, highly creative energy, but maybe it's not being utilized. So if it's not, speak up or look around, because you have what it takes to manifest something right now. And I feel like it can happen within a month or so. It's always easier to find something when you have something, so leverage that. Are there any inherent dangers right now? The main thing here is that you can't, sometimes change happens and you can't really affect that. So the biggest thing that I see is like a change of an executive, or again, possibly the structure of the company that's out of your control. You get to decide what you do with that. If you are feeling bored, use your time and energy outside of work to create either like a side hustle or the next phase of your life. Get planning in that area. Overall, it's manageable. Change, but I'm not seeing like Tower, Ten of Swords, or Death here. Probably, like for those of you that were already kind of in a place where they were going to do reduction of labor force, it's probably already been announced. Sometimes when you are the one that's left in that situation, it's difficult because you have to carry the load of an extra 2 or 3 people, and that's not fun either. But again, for most of you, I just get like some boredom and a chance for you to speak up if you want a little bit more. Also, Seven of Pentacles is okay, but I'd love to see some more as far as abundance goes. So maybe talking about compensation and step-up opportunities. All right, moving on to entrepreneurs, those that own their own companies, sole proprietors, etc. Many of you are at a point now where you're wondering if you can expand or if you want to stay or go. This is kind of like a make it or break it month. Financially, it's fine. Creatively, and when it comes to your overall path, it feels like there's been a little bit of stagnation. So I would encourage calculated risks. You can do that in marketing, trying to advertise or market in a different way. You could also take a look and make sure that you haven't missed a segment of the market. By the way, for those that are job seeking, this globe here also is saying the same thing. You could look at working in a different country, city, state, or province as well, but definitely like looking at the globe. So whether working or owning your own business, casting a wider net and seeing what's out there is important. Also with this, it's very interesting. Listen to feedback, customer feedback when we're looking at entrepreneurs. Make sure that you're not missing an opportunity to capitalize on a gap that's in the market or to fix a problem before it gets bigger. It looks pretty good. I think the main thing here is, are you doing what you want to do? And if you're not, as your own boss, you're going to have to figure out how to make necessary changes. All right, let's move on to, job seekers. Job seekers, you don't have to keep doing the same job if you don't want to. One of the times where I made a big shift, it was back around 2002, right after the dot-com bubble burst. I was up in the northern part of California, and just the job market there was not working very well. There was basically all the tech jobs were gone, but I could use my skills in a different way. And I decided to go from like general design and tech companies into entertainment because the same skills could be used. I had so much more fun, and I decided to just make a move. So look at potentially you can even stay in the same skill set, but work in a different industry. So see if that works. And again, a different end of the state or province or country, a move could be very beneficial in this period, especially with the globe here. A couple of quick notes before we move on to students. If you are looking for work, there may be something that isn't advertised but is available. And this would be something that you would probably get word of mouth. Friends, family, or someone that works there, you could reach out and say, I have this skill set. I'm curious. Do you know anybody in the company that's hiring? Don't be afraid to articulate what it is that you're looking for. There may be something that hasn't yet made it to the job boards or the headhunters yet, and you could get ahead of that, and that could be really good. Creative energy is all over the place here with Ace of Cups, Queen of Wands, Two of Wands. So it feels like either you have uncapitalized or unappreciated creative talents that haven't yet come to the surface, or maybe you want to develop them a little bit more. And that's pretty much everything. How long might it take? Just a smidge longer than you want, the Hanged Man. Also, the Hanged Man is saying, make sure that you're not immediately signing on the dotted line. I like that the number 12 is here. It gets us almost through retrograde. So anything after the 15th is ideal, but it may take a couple of weeks. It may take until the 12th for you to get the progress that you're looking for. There are a couple of really nice options here. This is more of an innovative sort of energy. This one is a little bit more technical. You may actually be rolling up your sleeves a little bit more. So more management, more hands-on, but I see a couple options coming through. At least a couple of weeks. It's going to take the first 2 weeks. And if you can ride those 2 weeks out. It's good because with retrograde, you don't want to be signing on the dotted line until after that, if possible. This is interesting. One last thing here, which is this is second chances, like 8 of Cups. So there may be a place that you applied at where a job reemerges, or you are going to try again, maybe a year or two later. This time they're going to look at your resume differently. Just because it didn't work the first time doesn't mean that it can't work this time. It's different. It's better. You're wiser. Okay. For those of you that are students, there's a couple of notes here. I think some of you you're very close to graduation. The judgment card can mean that you're in your final semesters and it's just about like the next stage or phase of the journey. Some of you may also be deciding to change majors. World or judgment card is typically, or the death card, it's basically saying, I need to make some changes. So that's fine. Double major for some of you because we have 2 queens. Some of you might also want to study or work abroad for a semester, which I also encourage. If you're feeling lost or uncertain, talk to somebody. I do like what I see here with the 7 of Pentacles. It's just taking you a little bit longer than you expected. So see if there's a better place to study or a better way to organize your particular degree. There may be, in fact, something that you haven't yet explored. For those who are retired, this is a chance to completely reinvent yourself and explore something new. Judgment is saying, don't do the same old, same old. We're looking at dance here. This could also be a chance to do something creative, like learn how to dance, learn a new language, learn art, something fun, something really engaging. With that in mind, gosh, there's a lot of people around you. You may not be looking for work or mentorship or volunteer opportunities, but they seem to be looking for you. I don't think there's any lack of things that you can connect to. It's more a matter of, do you feel like it? Because I definitely get, as I look at all of this, I don't want to. And that's okay if you don't want to. But if you do, or if you even just push yourself out of the comfort zone a little bit, you could meet some really cool people. It might be worth trying a couple of things that initially you think, I don't know, because I like what I see here quite a bit. All right, I think we hit on all of the major categories. So we have Hypnos coming through for the next section, love. This is very fascinating for love and relationships because the caption at the bottom reads sleep. So for some of you, it could feel like a core relationship is just getting a little predictable. Maybe you or the partner isn't putting as much energy in as you normally do. And this is kind of like a wake-up call and a chance to shake it up and find the passion. If you're trying to manifest a partner, pay attention to daydreams and dreams. There could also be just someone very quiet around you. And I'm looking at this and it could also just be someone very dreamy. So just remember, the thing that you really want to avoid is a sense of repetitive energy, boredom, or the same old, same old. This is the time to shake it up. Let's go ahead and go a little deeper into 3 major categories here. Those that are in a relationship, looking for love, single, and happy. If you're currently in a relationship with someone, it can be a level up opportunity. I quite like the Ace of Cups. So in the best possible read of this, things have been going for a while. Maybe they've started to increase in intensity. You're feeling it, they're feeling it, and you say, let's level up, let's try this. They may be surprised because this can represent someone who is just sort of like resting in the energy of, well, okay, I thought this was good. But surprise doesn't mean that they're not interested. Just give them a moment to recalibrate. One of you is moving faster than the other. But I do like this. This is mutual sparks as we look at it here. But if the spark is lacking a little bit, then what you want to talk about is what you're interested in. This is saying, I'd like to spend some more time with you, or maybe we could take a trip, or maybe we could do something, communicating what's lacking. So either it feels like it's one end or the other here. There's a lot, or you're missing that because this is in the past. So articulate what it is that you want or what you miss. And that can be something that one of the partners is not as kind of tuned in as the other. Initiate if you need to. Hypnos is just, nothing's going to happen with this energy unless you initiate it. So if you're waiting for the partner to make the first move, don't. it's a good time for you to check in. And if you don't want to take them completely by surprise, you can ask them, how do you feel about this? And but sometimes that can feel like a trap. So you can make it easy for them. Say, I really feel like this is great, but I also am looking for a little bit more. Are you ready for that? Now they already know it's not a trap. Like, what do you think? They just have to be honest, and you can kind of sort it out. You're going to see through it if they're not. But why play games? The older I get, I'm like, just tell someone where you're at. It's a lot easier. The interesting thing here is these two queens are not looking in the same direction. So this one's very focused on what's coming through. She's kind of in her own world. I feel like both of you may be on a successful streak with just a lot going on. And there's a reminder here to take time to tune into each other, right? A date night, a time where you kind of put your devices down, whether that's eating a meal or taking a walk in the morning or, eating breakfast. Find a time where you can have at least 15 minutes to half an hour to catch up. And I think that's everything there for current relationships. I say that and then two things came through. One is there could have also been a death, loss, or major shift in your lives that just kind of puts the relationship to the test. You want to be there for each other then. And also just more acknowledgement. 8 of Swords and 2 of Swords often mean that you sometimes feel like, do they see me? Do they appreciate me? Lead by example. Let them know what you like. Ask them if you need feedback on something. And realize a lot of times it's just fear that's driving this. If you're looking for love, it may be it's almost like right under your nose here with the 2 of Wands, but some of it is just about detachment. So when you stop looking, it finds you. I feel like you're ready, and I see 2 energies right here. We have fire and we have air. So yes. And I like that we don't have every single element. There's a couple of options in front of you. Let me give you what I see with both of these, and you can decide if you're ready. So with the Queen of Swords, she is connected to the Hanged Man. She wants to take it slow. So you might meet someone who you could talk to until the sun rises, but they're not ready to take the next step just yet. They're cautious. Queen of Wands, she's kind of on a rebound, and I get cautious energy from both of them, but she's more willing to talk about hopes and dreams. So whoever you can more communicate like clearly to, and they're in the same vibe, that's it. But I think right now, I've been saying this for almost every sign, but you too, Pisces, this is really a self-discovery month. Who are you? What do you want? What is your next step? What is your next sort of like dream or journey? How do you see yourself? Do you love and accept who you are? Because judgment can be how you judge yourself. When you get all of these clarified, then you won't need me to decide which one. But it feels like there's a little bit of internal clouds that need to be cleared in the mind's eye. But you are ready for love because of the Ace of Cups here. It's just there's some stuff going on here. Once you recalibrate that, I feel like it's going to be all right. And Queen of Wands has a little more passion too. So the fire sign may be what you want to focus on. And as I look at her, I actually get Sagittarius. That's what pops into my head. So there may be a Sagittarius in your life too. All right, let's transition into those that are single and happy. Perfect time to be single and happy. You could be working on a project. You could be writing a book. You could be planning a vacation, looking at your money and your resources, like so many developmental energies that are popping up here. Also deciding to make a really radical change, and you don't have to ask for permission because no one's tethered to you. You're still going to meet people. I also think that no matter what, it feels like somehow travel is in the future for you. And so this is a really great time because it'll be a little bit easier without having as many people to plan for in that situation. All right, that's everything. Let's move on. Let's go to destiny. We have death coming through here. Azrael, transcendence is how Azrael is referred to here. You wouldn't be who you are without what you have overcome. Own your story. Amen to that. That is an amazing way to look at it. This is an angel of death, transformation, transcendence. Judgment and death are complementary cards in the major arcana. This is basically the other side of death, rebirth, basically, right? So ultimately, this whole month is offering you a chance to transcend, reinvent, have a reimagined energy, or to basically rebirth yourself. So the sky is the limit, Pisces. Maybe you need to hear that from me. It's just a matter of how much you box yourself in. The prison of thoughts is what this is. I forget it sometimes when I'm not looking at the traditional illustration, but it is a prison of thoughts. So if you can imagine yourself as something more, you can be something more. All right, let's go ahead now and take a deeper dive into sun, rising, and moon sign messages for you, Pisces. Sun, rising, and moon. All right. Sun sign first. King of the Mountain, King of Swords. Let's look at this card in the upright position because it's so beautiful. So we have all the different ways in which you can communicate. We have the owls, the bats, the dragonfly right behind him. Beautiful synchronicity. And what does this represent? A couple of things. First of all, what Spirit's conveying is one size doesn't fit all. What do you mean? Well, look at all the different animals there. Each one of those is going to require a different way of communicating or connecting. So what worked for someone else won't necessarily work for you. What worked for your mom or dad or your teacher or your friend, not necessarily for you. Anybody that goes into a store and picks a size off the rack knows what I'm talking about. Not all brands have the same sizing. You can be a size small in one or a medium in another or a large in another. So your life, one size doesn't fit all. You've got to figure out what it is that you want. And the King of Swords, whether upright or reversed, is decisive, takes action on it, and really doesn't apologize for needing to make those movements. I do like that, much like the Queen of Swords, he's basically thinking, choosing his moment, choosing his words. Both of them are kind of lost in thought, and I like that. He is reversed. A couple of notes on this, and then we'll move on. King of Swords reversed can sometimes be hasty in communication, the moment that he chooses. So unlike the Queen that was upright, he might need to read the room a little bit. Simple way to do this. Go to someone and say, first of all, how's your day? How are you feeling today? Give them time, hold space, let them talk. Ask a follow-up question or two. Then also say, hey, if you have a chance today, I would love to talk about this. Is this a good time, or should I schedule something later in the day? You've given them choice, you've given them space, you've given them time to prepare because they may choose that later point. And this will set both of you up for success. Read the room. That's basically something that you can do time and again, and it's going to make things better for you. All right, let's move on to rising sign. Don't give up. 9 of Wands. I love that she isn't basically she doesn't have the bruises or the bandages that we would normally see in the traditional 9 of Wands. She still has to push through some stuff. There's a fence in front of her. Usually the wands are behind her, so there's like one more obstacle. The reversal of this card can show fatigue. In particular, like sometimes it's like just a headache. I'm tired of thinking about this person, place, or thing. Don't give up. You are so close to the finish line. Be the light, be strong. Look at her. She's no nonsense. Don't take no for an answer when it comes to something you know you should get or can do. I never want you to force a connection, but there are points where something is worth fighting for. So fight the good fight. Don't fight just for the sake of fighting. Mostly here, I feel like you need a little bit of a rest in order to find that light that she's shining. So take care of yourself. And if there are any things going on with like, it's difficult concentrating or you have a headache or a migraine, also get that checked out, but it may just be stress. All right. Moving on to the moon, we have Knight of Cups reversed. Slow down a second. How do you feel? How do you feel about someone's decision? How do you feel about this next opportunity? How do you feel in general? If you want something, go for it. This Knight of Cups is handsome and he's got those flowers and he's like, hey, I'm interested. Are you? And it can be anything. It can be business, it can be love, it can be an opportunity. But you're not playing games. There is a very straight shooting energy that keeps coming through here. And ultimately with this Knight of Cups, you might also be feeling sensitive in this moment in time. Is this the first cups that we got? Outside of the ace, it is. The ace and the 5. It's the first court card. So this is most connected to you, Pisces. And I feel like right now, this needs to feel good for you too. You matter. You should be a part of the equation. Don't sacrifice your own happiness for acceptance or for success. It's an important piece of the equation. Now is a chance for you to ask one final question. Anything that's on your mind that we haven't yet covered, let's go ahead and give the cards a shuffle and see what Spirit has to say. All right. If you ask me a yes or no, one thing that I would say for you is only if it makes you happy. And have you looked at it as the Hanged Man suggested from all angles? Things are better than you think with the Four of Cups. She's got that ace. Usually the ace is floating in the sky, but this one is just within reach. For some reason, she doesn't feel like seeing it or embracing it. And so I would say before making your mind up on whatever this is, take a step back, tune out comparison, like don't compare yourself to someone else. Tune out, whoever might be speaking up and sharing their 2 cents worth that just doesn't feel right. And just go inward and think, do I feel good about this? If you do, it's exactly what you should be focusing on. There could be a hidden blessing or hidden opportunity in front of you. And it's just a matter of you saying, oh, yes, of course. So slow down and look around. There's something easier, better, or clearer than you might be giving it credit for. And I think it is a little bit of this ricocheting into that. So distance will give you clarity. A little bit of solitude will give you clarity. And a little bit of time will give you clarity. So I'm going to say to that, it's a not yet because you're not feeling it. You should be feeling whatever it is completely before moving forward. Can you make it work? Yes. Is there potentially something that's even better than you think? Yes. By the way, I've looked at this card, I don't know, hundreds of times. This is the first time I actually saw the hand putting it out there. Because I think it is in the Rider-Waite-Smith one, you see kind of a hand and the cup in the corner. But look at this. There's a guy putting that cup there and saying, hey, how about this? So look around. Someone could be trying to drop a hint or provide you an important opportunity, but you're focused here. You're not looking here. Like the Three of Wands, you have to look all around to see where the ships are coming in. That was a cool little detail there. One more time. Someone's trying to help you, but you have to be open to the help. That was a magical reading, Pisces. Thank you for your patience on this. I always like to make sure that I'm not rushing and I'm not overdoing it, so I wanted to make sure I could deliver a great reading for you, so appreciate your time. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor. Hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let me know what sort of opportunities you're juggling right now, what part of this resonated the most. I read every comment, and I really do appreciate the feedback, so thank you in advance. You can also give me a follow on social media. Just about everywhere, it's Nicholas Ashbaugh. No extra spaces, no extra accounts. It's just like you see here. I'm also on an emerging platform called Blue Sky. It's nicholasashbaugh.com. That's my username there. That's also the name of my website. So if you need more information, you can go there for all the relevant links and news and info. Also, just a quick reminder, I do not offer private readings or use direct messages, so be mindful of anyone that is. Block report, let me know about it. If you want to show love and support, you can do it through super stickers, super chat, and memberships. And I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your love, your support, your being here. Makes all the difference. Let's see, I think Apollo's behind us. So let's wrap up with a little bit of love for Apollo, and then I will sign off. Hey, buddy. Who's a good boy? Yes, I know. He's like, I'm going to just nap, Dad. And he's entitled to do exactly that. All right, everybody, have a fantastic December, a happy and safe holiday season. I'll see you again for my weekly, daily, and also monthly videos, of course. Join me for the live streams every Sunday. If you didn't know about it, it's 9:15 a.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you there. Lots of love and light. Bye-bye.